everyone, I am Charu.
I'm Ganshri.
I hope you all are doing good and missed us. We both welcome you again to the series of ALUM Tales. In this episode, we have with us one of the most meritorious alumna of IIT Delhi.
She has secured AIR 40 in IIT JAM 2018 and is now a PhD scholar in Germany under Professor Andreas Walther. She has published 2 papers and is a recipient of the Marie Curie's Fellowship.
So her personality is like this, which intrigues us more to know about her and her experiences. So we are talking none other than but Charu.
So everyone, let's welcome Charu. Hello Charu. Welcome to the series.
Thank you.
Chemocronies family feel honored to have you here.
Thank you so much, guys. First of all, I really appreciate that at the end someone from IIT really come up with this kind of platform, because I was really thinking that someone should really come forward and start this kind of platform where they can really guide and enlighten everyone regarding this process, because I think we are really out of any guidance or counseling when it comes to pursuing PhD in abroad. So I think you guys are really doing a great job and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So Charu, let's start with your experience at IIT Delhi, your academic life, the professors you miss, and the hostel, as the hostel is the place the alumna misses a lot.
Yeah, so first of all, as you guys know, I'm from Delhi only. I pursued my entire studies until master's in Delhi. First of all, I was pursuing my bachelor's from Hindu College, Delhi University. And I mean, you guys must have listened this a lot, that when you are doing your bachelor's, you kind of enter into this autopilot mode that you are supposed to do masters. And pursuing masters from IIT is kind of really obvious. It's very, there were like very less people who kind of go for GNCSR or IISc for pursuing their integrated master's PhD course. And it's okay also because for IITs, it's kind of an independent program that you can pursue your master's and then complete it, and then you are free, and then you can either go abroad or you can crack this GATE exam, and then you can go for ONGC, DRDO, whatsoever, and or if you are willing to do something else, then you can do that also. And that was the case for us also, and we were really attracted at that time to enter into IIT, because we were of course not able to get via JE exam, as you all know. So it was a really big thing for me also to get into IIT Delhi for pursuing my master's. And I think the first semester was really intimidating, I would say. I mean, you meet these big professors. I mean, the environment is so good, and you are like, okay, I'm in IIT now, and I have to work really, really hard, and I have to really behave like in a very different manner in front of the professors, and how I'm supposed to behave in class, how I'm supposed to perceive myself in front of the professors. But I would say that after attending like few classes and taking some courses, I realized that it's normal. These guys are really cool, and because most of them have pursued their studies from either IIT or from abroad, so these guys are really, really cool. The IIT's professors are really cool, and some of them are really nice also. And that scary thing was gone after the first semester. But so we were when I entered into IIT, I was like quite sure that I'll crack GATE exam, and I wanted to go to DRDO as a research scientist. I was like 110% sure about that. But in the first semester, I remember that there was this summer internship program. I couldn't recall the name of that program. I can let you guys know later. So this was a program where they select some few students from India to pursue an internship program in US. And in our class was really, really competitive. Our class was like so competitive, and everyone was running after something. So almost like if there were 42 students in the class, then I would say at least 30 students went for this interview. So there was this interview also in the department, where the professors, like there was a panel of professors, and they were like selecting students out of the whole class who will basically apply for this internship program first. And at that time, it was like me and I think Utkarsh Pathak, one classmate of us, who were selected for just applying for this internship program. And for this internship program, we started only in the first semester. We prepared an SOP. We gathered some recommendation letters from the professors, and it was a good like exposure, I would say. And it gave us like confidence also that, yeah, I mean, we can do something. And our English was not that great at that time, I would say. And we really didn't know anything about research. We didn't know anything about these internship programs, that, okay, can I really go to US just for internship? I mean, in master, that's really a big deal, right? I mean, that was really attractive at that time. And of course, we didn't get through that internship program because it was really a big deal. That internship program was really big, but it gave us so much confidence because we passed that interview. We were selected by our professors, and I remember that I'm forgetting, there were like 4 or 5 professors, and it was just me in this meeting. You know, in the department we have this meeting room near the head of the department office, and we there were like 4 or 5 professors, and it was just me, and it was like really scary and intimidating. And they asked me what subjects I liked, and I told them that, yeah, organic chemistry is my favorite subject, and I really love organic chemistry. And they asked me that, like, go on the board and just show us one of the mechanism that is your favorite. And yeah, I mean, that was a point in the first semester when I realized that I really like this stuff. I'm really enjoying it, like writing SOPs, writing research proposals, and thinking about getting into this program is really exciting me. So I thought that I should really consider other options apart from GATE exam. So that was the point where I kind of started searching about and discussing with my friends about this PhD programs. So I find out that if you are doing PhD in India, it takes like 5 years minimum, especially in organic chemistry. You guys know, I mean, I was really interested in organic chemistry at the time. I was like crazy, and I was like, yeah, I mean, organic chemistry is the thing. That's it. It's the thing that I want to pursue for the entire life now. But so yeah, but it was really difficult at the time because PhD in organic chemistry area, it takes like minimum 5 to 6 years in India. And for me personally, because of some personal reasons, I couldn't really spend 5 6 years on one thing, because I really needed to become independent at that time. And I thought that then I get to know that in European countries, you can get your PhD in like 3 to 4 years. That's possible. So I was like, why not? And in US, you can get your PhD max 5 years, but that's not true. It can also take 6 years, depending on your area of interest or whatsoever. So that's how that was a point where we started looking for other options and everything, and we realized that, okay, we can do this. And I would really say that you have to think about these. There are like 2 directions. One is industry and one is academia, whether you want to stay in academia or you want to go for industry. And you have to start thinking about this within your master's only sometimes, because I know there are some people who they can prepare for GATE also, or they can look for PhD at night and prepare for GATE, or you can spend your entire night in the lab working or developing something, or really focusing on master thesis. So that was a really interesting point. And if I talk about like hostel life, I mean, I was a morning person before coming to IIT, and then I really became night person. I don't know when. I mean, I was before masters, I was not even able to wake up after 11 o'clock in the night. And then in the first semester only, we have like 2 minors in a single day. And then I was like how I'm supposed to prepare for this? And we all used to wake up the entire night, and we all used to study together. It was so much fun. The journey was so much good. We don't really need, we stopped caring about getting like good scores and getting good marks, but we really because it was like, yeah, okay, we are studying until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, then we are definitely going to go to that night canteen. We are going to have some food, and then we are going to again continue our studies till, I don't know, 3 4, depending on which subject it is, what exam you have, or how much capabilities you have, depending on that. So that was really fun. I mean, hostel life is really good. And I mean, I was like at my home until bachelor's all the time, and then coming into the hostel directly, it was like a freedom that you get. And I was really surprised that even if you are like going out of the campus after 9 or 10, they are not going to ask you any question. They are not going to like tell you anything. That's really surprising. I mean, for Delhiites especially. I mean, you are not allowed to go out. You know that the like city is not that safe, of course, but still, I mean, wandering around the campus with everyone going there. I mean, it was so good. The campus is our campus is really it's not that big, but still Delhi people know that this much big space is a big deal. It's a big deal for us. So having good friends was a very important part of if you don't really have good friends in the hostel or at IIT, you won't even able to get through the entire process, because it's so intimidating, it's so competitive, it's really difficult. I mean, you can get demotivated, you can get really scared throughout the process. So I would say having good friends was really a good thing that helped me through this journey. So, and yeah, I would say that IIT prepared us for all the hard work, I would say, like running through, like waking up the entire night, or working the whole day in the lab, even on Saturdays. And so that really helped us. I mean, that's helping me a lot. Really prepared in the masters only, how to troubleshoot your errors, how to take care of your own. And yeah, so it was a really good journey, I would say. Yeah, and the professors were amazing, especially my master thesis supervisor. She was like really supportive all the time. I mean, she was so much motivating at the time, and she was the one who actually motivated me to pursue my PhD abroad. She was like, yeah, you are capable, you should do it. And as you guys know, that recommendation letter is really important. I mean, first is your marks, and then is your recommendation letter. Really, no one really cares about research proposal and SOP. It's okay for European countries, it's okay, but they really care about your recommendation letters and your marks. So I suppose that my professor, after now I'm in like completing my second year here, so my professors sometimes say me this, that your recommendation letter was really good, and that's one of the reasons that I was interested in you as an applicant. So I really want to thank I think I took one of my recommendation letter from, of course, Nidhi ma'am, and the other one was Dr. Shantan Paria, and he was really also supportive to provide me a good recommendation letter. So I would say it was a beautiful journey. Yeah.
Exactly. Our professors are very cool and motivating and supporting. We also feel the same thing from them. And every novice who enters IIT comes with eyes full of dreams. So what back then when you entered the IIT?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, that was sure 110% that I have to crack a gate. I'm gonna rank. And I knew that I'm gonna get top 10 ranks, and I'm gonna work really hard. And I don't know why I had this attraction for DRDO at that time. Maybe because of some reason I was reading about it in my bachelor's, and I was really attracted to it at that time. I didn't know about ONGC much. I was not really attracted to ONGC at that time, but I was really curious, and I wanted to go to DRDO. So I heard about and I read about it that you have to crack GATE exam. And of course, I thought that, yeah, I'm going to go to IIT. I'm going to get some good courseworks. I'm going to go through learn a lot from the good professor. So I'm really going to crack my GATE exam. But as I said that those things were really changed. In fact, in the first semester only, like there were like just 2 months, and I knew, okay, GATE should not be the only option. I should really consider other options as well. I mean, it would be really bad if I'm not considering other options. And since IIT is not a proper research institute, so everyone knows IIT as a technology. Even if you go outside and you meet others, you know that IIT is known for its this BTech program, especially, and not for its research programs. But when you enter there and when you go to research labs, and everyone is so open, and then you get to know I mean, these guys are so nice. I remember once I asked permission of one of the professors that I wanted to talk to your PhD student. Can I go and talk to this guy or that girl? And he was like, you don't really need to ask me to come to my lab and talk to PhD students. You can anytime come to the lab and you can anytime talk to these guys. Just talk to them and it's up to you. So I felt really, really good that these guys are so open and these guys are so nice. And yeah, I mean, of course, as you know that my interest, because of that internship program also, my interest was completely changed at that time. And I thought that I should really focus on getting my PhD. And we started talking, I started discussing among my friends and with some professors also. And we thought that we should start preparing for GRE. At that time, I would say that in the first year, I was not like, I'm going to go for PhD in Europe also, because see, you have to keep your options open. You should not really get stuck with one thing. It's a very competitive world, and you should know that what's your worth. At that time, okay, my marks were good, but that is not sufficient in these days. Your marks are not sufficient. So I knew that I really have to build my CV. I really have to work hard on other things also. So we started preparing for GRE and TOEFL at that time. And yeah, eventually the process began. And but then I realized that, see, applying in US and preparing for US is could be really expensive. And for me, I mean, it was not that easy. Like, you know that one GR exam costs like 14,000 rupees, Indian currency. And TOEFL also costs around 11,000-12,000. And applying in each university, application form costs around 5,000-6,000 rupees. So I mean, if you are applying to more universities, you are keeping your options more open, and you are really increasing your chances of getting into one of the universities. So it's a very expensive process, I would say, and I was not having that much amount of money at that time to spend. So I was really started considering other options, and yeah, that was that. At that time, I realized that maybe European countries could also be one option. And 3 years sounds really attractive, that you can be done with your PhD in 3 years. Although it's not true, it gets like 3.5 or 4 years. So yeah, that's how the dreams change actually. When you get, I think that for you guys also, you must have come with some other dreams, and now you must be thinking about some other options. I'm 110% sure that happens to almost everyone. Either you don't have any dreams, and then you get like a big dream, or you have some dreams, but your dreams change with time, and it's okay also. So yeah, that's the special thing about IIT environment. It really nurtures you, and it really helps you to think what you actually want in your life. So yeah.
So basically, the environment and the exposure IIT Delhi given to you has changed your dream.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
So, like, you have told us why did you choose Europe? Is there any specific reason why Germany only? Like, you got selected for other countries, other cities also, or?
Yeah, I mean, first I was so Germany, especially because the educational environment in Germany is the best among all the European countries. The work-life balance, the way these guys work. I mean, I've been in Europe for like 2 years now. I completed my 2 years like 2 days ago. So I've been like for complete 2 years now, and I have been to some other countries also, and I've realized that Germany is the best really in terms of their organizational matters, in terms of safety, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of their educational environment. These guys are really good. And I knew this. I was like I was going around the websites of all the universities and and other things, and I was naive at the time, and I used to look at the QS ranking of the institutes. And see, if you are going for a bachelor's or a master's program, then QS ranking matters a lot. You should really go for better QS ranking institutes. But if you are like looking for a nice PhD program, for a nice PhD supervisor, then if you are going for QS ranking, then it's really being a naive thing to do. You really have to go to the professor's website independently. You have to consider like all the points independently about that. And yeah, that's how I get to know about other universities. And I looked into some profiles, and I really get this feeling that German universities are quite good as compared to the other universities, but I was really open to other universities as well. So I was applying to mainly Germany, Netherlands, and I applied to Israel also, and I get into one of the I think PhD program in Technion University, but I was not really interested in going to Israel for some reason. I don't know. That was really stupid, but it's okay. I was not really attractive to the university, and I didn't like the PhD program much. And then I get this other dual university PhD program, which was a tie-up between Dr. Nidhi Jain lab and there's another Koenig lab in Germany, another state. So that professor told me that you will pursue half of your PhD in Dr. Nidhi Jain lab and half of your PhD in Germany. I was like, no, I can't really deal with this stupid thing. I can't really toggle between two countries, and that's shitty. Either I'm doing my PhD in Europe or I'm doing my PhD in India, that's for sure. And but that's not an easy process. I would say that I started applying and then I was receiving all the mails. I have not told this anyone, but I finally landed my final PhD position on the last day of my master's in IIT. I was about to leave that day. I mean, all things were done, exams were done, farewell, etc., etc. Everything was done, and it was the last day that my final interview happened, and the professor told me that, yeah, I mean, we are really happy to take you in the PhD program and everything. And I started applying from the beginning of the second year of my master's, and that's everyone should do, because it takes time. I wrote like 100 of letters to the professors, to the individual professors, along with applying to US also, because I was preparing for GRE also, I was preparing for TOEFL also. So it was really busy. I was working in the lab also, doing some lab courses also. So it was really, really busy at that time. And I knew that either I'm going to prepare for GATE, or I'm going to prepare for GRE, or I'm going to apply to universities in Europe. So you really have to think at that time, what's your priority. It's really a decision making step at that time, and you really have to be sure what you want to do. If you really want to go for GATE, then go for GATE. Don't worry about any other thing, because some people, what they do is they are sitting on Sunday, they are writing some random mails to the professors, very shitty mails, very unspecific, and they assume that they're going to get into the universities like they'll by fluke. But that's not going to happen. You have to really think about it. You really have to plan it. Then only it's going to happen. So I decided that, okay, GATE is kept aside right now at that particular time, and I really have to focus on my PhD applications right now. And that worked, but I was not really getting good universities at that time. I was in the beginning, because no one told us how to write an application, how to write a mail. And in the beginning, 25 or 30 mails, I didn't receive even a single reply, not even a no from a professor. And I was so motivated that at least these guys can say a no, right? I mean, at least they should have this courtesy to say no. But then I realized I was reading my own emails, and I was like, maybe I'm too unspecific, or I'm too vague about my application, or I'm writing too much and these guys don't have much time. So that's how I kind of changed the way in between. And that's how everything changed and kind of landed. But I can talk about this maybe separately, how these things happen, because it's a very specific part of the program. Yeah,
I think that's true, that we should be specific in our life, that where we want to go. We cannot do everything together. So next question to you is that besides in Europe, we get a PhD in 3 years. What is the difference between 3 years and 6 years PhD in USA, Canada, and India? Means, is there any difference in the weightage when we apply for further studies or job? Right?
So when you apply to US, you have to write an SOP, of course, and they want to know about your English also, how your English is, how your writing skills is. You have to write your essay, and you have to take this TOEFL exam, GRE exam, etc., etc. And those things are also really important. They really, in US, they really consider your holistic personality and not just your scientific part. So that's really important for these guys. And in US, of course, you have to take these lab courses. You have to take courses also. In fact, for the first year, you are not doing any lab work. You are just taking courses and stuff. So that's the difference in Europe. Why in Europe the PhD is just 3 years? Because they don't really ask you to take any courses. They don't ask you to take any courses. They don't ask you to do any lab work before. They just ask you to be a teaching assistant or a research assistant, sometimes in the lab course. I have done that also myself, but that was just for 1 semester. And then so now the thing is that that's why it's very difficult to land a position in European countries, because first of all, they check your marks, that are you aware of everything, are your fundamentals clear, are you a good student? Because in here in Europe, it's not like your bachelor's is for 3 years and your master's is for 2 years and then you get into your PhD program. Here it's completely different. It's really flexible. Some people complete the bachelor's in 4 years, some people complete it in 4.5, some people take 5 years, and it depends, because they have thesis in the bachelor's also. So these guys, when they came into their PhD program, they know more than us. They know a lot. In master thesis only, they do their own independent projects, and sometimes they have their own first author good papers, even sometimes in Angewandte Chemie also. So these guys, when they come for their PhD program, they know already a lot, and they don't really need any courses at that time for their PhD program. That's why when these professors take up some other foreigner students, like from India or China or whatsoever, so they kind of assume that you know already a lot, and that's why they want to make sure you have done enough amount of work in your master's, in your bachelor's. That's why the PhD is kind of 3 or 4 years in Europe, because from the first day you start working in the lab. You know what you're going to do in your PhD. In the US, it's a little bit different. You first in first year, I guess you go for your courses and then for your lab work also, and then you start your PhD. So it's a long process, but in US, it's short for this reason only. So, but it depends also. I mean, if your professor thinks that, for example, your background is, for example, say, for example, for me, it was organic chemistry, and I started my PhD in a completely different project area. So my professor could have asked that, yeah, you can take up this course of this professor and then you can learn a little bit. But it was not necessary for me, so I didn't take it. So that's the main reason why there's a difference in the timeline of PhDs in different countries. In India also, it's similar to US. You have to take courses, you have to complete TA duties, etc. And that's why it takes a little bit longer as compared to European countries. Yeah, so that's it.
So for pursuing PhD, what are the various scholarships that one can apply to during their MSc? Like you got Marie Curie scholarship.
So first of all, it's not a scholarship, it's a fellowship. I mean, there's a very fine difference between the two. And it's not like that I applied for it. It's like my professor wrote a grant. Do you know that about these things, that you write a grant or something to get money to run a lab? No, right?
Exactly.
So just to briefly inform you about the process. So while running a research lab, you need money, right? To buy instruments, to buy chemicals and stuff. And in some cases in India, some research labs are lagging behind because of this money, that you have to write a grant. For example, in India, I think DSC is DSC. It is DST funding. Yeah, so it's DST. So many professors write a grant there, and so what they write in grant is they propose a research, or they propose a project, and then based on that project they receive some money from some funding organizations, and that money they use to run their lab, to buy some instruments, to buy chemicals, or in fact they can use that money to offer stipend to their PhD students or postdoc students. And then so for example, my professor received this particular grant, and this falls under this European training network, and then this Marie Curie fellowships comes with that. So my professor get this grant, and he was allowed to offer this particular fellowship to 2 students. So he advertised this particular fellowship on Eurexis. So I received this, I got this job. I find this job on Eurexis, you know, this platform where you can find jobs in Europe. So this is this is really crucial if you are looking for I want to tell you about these things. I have wrote these points also. Like first of all, EURAXESS. This is really, really, really important. Most of the professors here in Europe advertise positions in their lab, like PhD positions. They advertise these positions on this particular in this particular job portal. So I got my, I was like randomly looking on, I was Googling one day and I find out that there is this platform called Eurexes, and there were like really nice programs available. And I was like, I found this program at around fourth semester in my master's. And you guys should really look, if you are looking for PhD in Europe, you should really visit this website. And it's really possible that you will find a job for yourself. And mostly these jobs are advertised when professors have funding, separate funding for offering a PhD position. So some money you get from the university itself to run a lab, like a fixed amount of money from the university. And then there is extra funding available that you receive as a prize, or you receive as funding from other separate organizations. So this was a separate funding that my professor received from some other organization, and he could really hire 2 PhD students with this particular amount of money. So that he advertised this particular job on Eurexes, and of course he advertised on other platforms also, but I found this job on Eurexes, and it was simply just asking my CV, my simple research proposal, and that's it. So I have to submit those things, and I received a reply later according to my CV and other things. So one is this platform called Eurexes, where you can find your job, and the best scholarship that you can apply to is DAAD, DAAD, DAAD. This is really famous. This is specifically for Germany. And for DAAD, the most important thing is that you can't just open the website and you can't just apply for it. First of all, you have to find a professor in Germany. So it can happen naturally within the process also, that you are writing a lot of mails. And if some professor is really interested in hiring you, then he or she can ask you that I don't really have funding. You'll get these replies. I don't know where are you at this point in applying for your PhD program, but you'll definitely receive at least one of this reply from one of the professors that I don't really have funding in my lab, so I can't offer you any job at the moment. Or if they really like you, then they'll ask you that, okay, I don't have funding, but what you can do is, I really like you, what you can do is you can apply for DAAD. Since you are an Indian student, so you can apply for DAAD, and DAAD will then support you throughout your entire PhD. You don't really have to do anything with your professor's money or anything. He can give you money, but it depends. But your whole PhD program will be supported by DAAD scholarship. So this scholarship is really very easy to apply for. You just have to find a right professor, and then if the professor is ready, then you can start applying for this scholarship. And because you'll need a recommendation letter from this professor when you are applying for DAAD, and when you are going for your interviews in DAAD.
The next question was, how many countries did you apply for and the different projects?
So I, of course, I mean, if you want to know about US, I applied only for one university in US. And I told you that it was really difficult for me at the time for applying to US because it was getting very expensive for me. I couldn't do that. And I knew at the time I didn't get a very good GRE and TOEFL score, and I knew that I won't get into a good university, because in US the bad thing is that you don't really have one-on-one conversation with the professor. So your CV will first be transferred to the admin department of the university, and then from there the admin department will circulate those CVs to the professors in the department, and then they'll choose if they like you, and they'll offer you a invitation, or like invitation for the interview or something. But in Europe you have like one-on-one conversation directly with the professor. So in US, that was a gone thing for me. I stopped applying for US at one particular point, and then I started focusing on Europe. And then mainly, as I said, I was applying in Israel. Israel has really, really nice research institutes. When I get into PhD here in Germany, then I realized that there's this Weizmann Institute of Science, there is Technion, and there is other universities also. They have like really good program. They host a lot of Nobel laureates also, and Israel is a very good country. In India, when sitting there, I was like confused, and I was not really happy about going to Israel, but still. And then I was also applying. I was mainly applying in Germany. And I was applying to some universities in Switzerland and mainly in Netherlands. So I would say that the PhD programs in the universities in Germany and Netherlands are top notch. Netherlands is doing really great. They have some really nice universities. I mean, you know, the Professor Ben Feringa, he won Nobel Prize, I think 3 years ago, and he came to IIT Delhi also after winning the Nobel Prize. He gave in the department also. He came. That was a really big event. Yeah, so mainly, yeah, I was applying to Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, Israel, and yeah, and I was actually from internally, I was really interested in coming to Germany because I read about it and I find out that Germany has a really nice PhD programs and the educational background is top notch. And the main problem with me at that point was that not much seniors were pursuing a PhD in Europe at that time from our senior batch. There was only this one senior who was pursuing her PhD in Berlin, and there was no other person because I think in IIT Delhi, pursuing a PhD in US was more famous than pursuing a PhD in Europe. So there were no seniors whom you could talk to, because applying in Europe in a PhD program is a really confusing and a very inconsistent process. So you don't get to know what the process is, how you're going to do it, and what are the good universities and how you should apply, because in US it's a very structured process that, yeah, you have to take a GRE exam, TOEFL exam, and then you apply, fill in an application process and blah blah blah. But in Europe it's really confusing. So but yeah, I applied in mainly Germany and Netherlands at that time. Yeah.
So many times, master students are confused about the MSc project topic as they are not sure that what will be its consequences in the future. So there is any relation between MSc project topic and PhD topic, or we can change our topic in PhD also?
Yes, you can change it for sure. Yes, you can change it. So first of all, it will help you if you are pursuing PhD in the same area. As I said, that since you don't really have any lab courses and other teaching programs in Europe when you come into your PhD. So if you have a good background in the science that you are going to do in your PhD, then it's really good thing. But PhD is all about learning, right? So for me also, I was, as I said, that I pursued my master thesis in a pure organic chemistry lab. And then I was switched to, now I'm doing my like PhD in, it's in chemistry, but it's in polymer science at the interface of DNA nanotechnology. And it's really a completely separate field. Like working with DNA, I didn't know like how to run a gel. I think she knows. I mean, she's working in the lab of Tanmay sir. So these guys know how to run a gel and some things like that, whatever. But
I'm not.
yeah, it depends. Yeah, I think it depends on the program that you are applying to. As I said, that I applied to a lot of programs, and there was this professor in Switzerland. I applied to the solar cell field or something. It was really popular at that time, and that guy told me that you are doing your PhD completely in organic chemistry, and we are not really. Would you be able to pursue a project like in a completely different field in your PhD? So the thing is that you have to convince him or her in the interview also that, yeah, I mean, I have been doing this, and I can really exploit my my experience for my master thesis into my PhD program, that, yeah, I can utilize that. But so if the field is completely different, then it's quite difficult. But it depends on your how you are convincing your professor in the interview. And the second thing is that is your professor really willing to take a candidate with a different background? Like for my professor, I've observed that he's kind of open to that kind of thing. Like if you are doing a completely different project in your thesis, and if you are going to do something really different in your PhD program, he really likes it. He really likes doing some interdisciplinary projects. So I would say that if you are interested in one subject, just go for it in your masters, and it would really help if you are doing a PhD in the similar background, not same, but at least similar background. But even if you want to split or you want to change your field, then you can talk to the professor in the interview, and you have to write it in your proposal, and you have to write it really nicely in a very convincing way that yeah, I did my project in this field, but I'm finding it a little bit fundamental, and I want to go for something more. I want to go for some more interdisciplinary fields, and I want to explore my pursuits and things like that. So it's possible. Everything is possible. You just have to be a little bit convincing in those terms.
So it depends on professor to professor and how we convince them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Shruti, is there any importance of internship while applying for abroad? Like there is, but like if someone has done only one internship at good place, and a few people are like they have done 2 or 3, so does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. What actually matters is, as I told you, what they'll first look in your CV is your bachelor's and master's CGPA score. Your marks matter. They matter a lot.
Bachelor's.
Yeah, bachelor's. I mean, not that much, but at least you should have. I mean, if you are having 80, they don't want like 95, 97%. They don't want that. If you have like 80% and above, it's sufficient enough. Because in PhD is not about reading and just writing some exams. They don't really care about that. But your marks matter to some extent. You should have, if you are having 80% and above, it's decent enough. They're not going to care about that much. And the next thing is, of course, your recommendation from your, if you're giving it from your master thesis supervisor, then it's really good, because then the professor will know, okay, because the master thesis is the most important part in your CV. That the professor really looks into that part, because that's the only part where you get an actual experience, and you like a temporary PhD experience you get from your master thesis, right? And so the recommendation from the master thesis supervisor is also really important. It plays a very key role in building your reputation in front of the anticipated professor. And these two things are really important. And then come your internship. So this is an add-on that adds to your personality and your CV. So if you are doing one good internship, I would say that's enough. You don't really need it. So you can told them, you can in the interview or in your CV or in your research proposal, you can write that in bachelor's we don't really do any thesis work. In India, we don't really do any thesis work in bachelor's. Especially in universities, local universities. I think you have to do your thesis in ICERs, but that doesn't really matter. You can just told them that you don't really do any thesis work in bachelor's, and it's not really famous, or it's okay, they won't really ask. And even if in your master's you are not able to do any internship, then you can tell them that what was the reason. Just tell them what was the reason, and why you were not doing an internship. And even if you are just working in the same lab that you are going to do your master thesis, or you have been doing your master thesis, and then also it's fine. It's totally fine. Or if you were involved in some other activity, some other extracurricular activity, then also it's fine, because these guys like it. But the most important thing is, just don't tell them that you were sitting idle for 2 months and doing nothing. So that won't be good. Just tell them, yeah, I mean, what you were doing, maybe you were writing something, you were preparing for some exam, you were doing some other stuff. That's okay. That's totally okay. But just don't tell them that you were doing nothing during that period of time. Like you were taking a sabbatical or something. But so in short, I would say that don't worry too much about internships. Internships are important, but they are just add-ons to your CV. So I think that even if you are doing just one internship or one good internship, you are learning some new science, that's okay. That's sufficiently okay.
So a research proposal is one of the most important things while applying for PhD. So could you please tell how to compose a research proposal?
Yeah, as we have discussed tits and bits of this research proposal thing, so I'll summarize a little bit. So you have your research proposal basically tells in short your journey until now, and why you are interested in this particular program, or why you are interested in this particular professor's lab, and why you are overall interested in a PhD, for pursuing a PhD. Why PhD? So as I said, that you have to write in short your journey from maybe from bachelor's or something, or from master's only. It depends on you. So you have to write how you get motivated a little bit, and why you chose this particular thesis lab, and how your thesis time period went, and what was your experience, and why this particular field you chose. And then also you can, for example, if you are changing, for example, if you are if you want to stay in the same field, then you can write that, yeah, I'm really excited about this field, I want to know more, I want to research more, and your lab is doing this and this stuff, and I'm really interested in your field, and I can really offer something from my side, and I can really do something in your lab, and things like that. And if you are splitting your fields, and if you are changing your fields, then you can just, as I said, that you can convince them that I have, see, organic, for example, for me, organic, having a experience in organic chemistry is a very fundamental thing. So you can use that in every aspect. Even if you are doing some biology stuff, or you are doing some physical chemistry, or you are doing some inorganic, you can utilize that. So you can convince your professor that, yeah, I have some fundamentals, my fundamentals are really clear, and I have some experience in the organic chemistry lab. So you can tell them that in the lab, you don't really just learn about how to do science. You learn how to troubleshoot your errors, you learn how to do independent science, you learn how to solve your problems, and you learn how to collaborate with others. Those are really important things, because in the interview they'll definitely ask you, you like to work alone, or you like to work in a team. So that's a very famous question that they ask you in your interviews, and it's a really important question, and it really depicts your personality. So you can tell them that in the lab, I do not only learn science, I was also uh, focusing on how to build collaborations with the other people in the lab. I used to learn, I know how to learn from others, because in IIT also you have postdocs in the lab, right? And they have very good experience in the field, and you should know how to exploit that. You should know how to learn from others, and how to extract information from others. And that's the thing that they are interested in you, because thesis is okay. It's a 6 months period, is a no, thesis is 1 month or 6 months in IIT. It's one year, right?
Yes.
1 year. So yeah, 1 year. Yeah, still it's a very big time, but you are also doing coursework for at least coursework also. But anyway, so these are the things that you have to write along with your science. They are not just gonna ask you that, yeah, okay, I know mass spec, I know NMR, I know this, I know that. Yeah, of course, there are like a lot of other candidates who know this stuff. What's different in you, what you can offer, what others can't. So you have to stand apart, and you have to really show him or her what's different in you and what you can offer. So the research proposal, as I said, that it's, you are just giving him or her a good look at your personality.
Like in the interview, we have to, I guess, present presentation too uh, when we apply for the PhD. So, like if somebody is shifting their topic, MSc project topic is different, and now applying for completely different stream, then what should one present in the presentation in the front of
You
supervisor?
have to present the same science that you have been doing, right? You can't really generate results, some different results. So as I said, that these guys, if they are really interested in you, sometimes what they are looking for is, they are not looking for someone with that particular experience. They are looking for a good candidate who can work hard on this particular project. So what you have to show this person is that you have worked hard on your project, whatever you have done, whether you have done some, only you have done some literature work, or you have done some, you have wrote a review, or you have done some proper experiments. You just have to show him or her that, yeah, I started from here, I had these problems, I solved this problem, I designed these experiments. You have to tell him that. He wants to know what was your part in the project, because usually in master thesis, your PhD guide, or your, I mean, if you are not doing an independent project, this plays a very important role. So that person wants to know what was your part in the entire project. And as I said, that science is not the only prospect that they look into a PhD candidate. So you have to just show whatever you have done, and just as I said, that let them know what were your experiences and what were your troubles and how you troubleshooted them. That's really important. Because when you enter into your PhD, no one will guide you completely, right? You have to, you would be boss of your own, and you have to really think, you have to design your experiments on your own, and you have to get out of your problems on your own. So that's what you will show in your presentation. Start with your master thesis and just present honestly what was your part in that. And yeah, you can show some other, it's not like, for example, for me, my master's project was I was guided by a PhD candidate in Nidhi Jain group. And so my project was, I was helping her in that project. So I was not working on an independent project. So it was not like that I just showed the professor the compounds that I synthesized. I showed him or her the entire project, and then I just let him know that, yeah, these are the things that I did, these were the problems that I faced, and these were the things that I suggested, and I designed these things. So you have to focus on those points. And then you can maybe at the end of the presentation, if you are really splitting the field a lot, then you can show, or you can propose that these are the things that you have read about this particular proposal or this particular project, and you can tell them that yeah, I know about this, I've been reading your papers, I've been reading this particular paper, I've been reading these reviews, and I know about this science, and I'm really interested in this, and I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. Maybe propose a short research proposal sort of thing, that short research project that you're going to do in your PhD, if it's not decided yet completely. For example, uh, take about this solar cell thingy also. I mean, I applied for this project, and I didn't know anything about solar cells at that time. So what I did was that I prepared this master thesis presentation, and at the end I showed him that, yeah, I've been reading your papers, and this is a short summary that I have learned, and this is something that I'm really interested in, and I can really offer, or I can really design some project on this particular field. So likewise, so then that guy will tend to know that, yeah, okay, you are highly motivated, and he'll get to know that you can do it. It's the experience is not needed at that particular point. So yeah, but most important thing is that you should be able to somehow exploit your master thesis experience in your PhD somehow, whether it's scientifically or in some other terms. So that's really important.
Okay, so while making CV and composing the name, what are the crucial points one need to keep in mind?
For CV, of course, CV, you can't really change anything in your CV. It's like a summarization of whatever you have done, but just highlight everything. For example, you guys are running this website and you have been handling these interviews. Add all of these things in your CV. This will really create a good impression of who you guys are, and you are really. This will definitely create a good impression in terms that you are really open, and you are really extrovert sort of people, and you really know how to interact, because in scientific environment you should know how to interact with other professors, and how to build a reputation and build a personality amongst others. So you guys know that. So whether you are organizing some event in IIT Delhi or things like that, because of corona, everyone knows that you might not be able to do much internships, or you might not be able to do other important things, but you are doing other lot of things, right? So you should write in those points that, yeah, I did, even if it was a small achievement, you should write it, that I have pursued this quiz, or I won it, or I received a participation certificate. It's okay, no one really cares, but you should highlight your achievements. It depends on you. So that really helps, actually. And if I talk about your research proposal, the research proposal was a question, right? The other thing.
CV and mail.
CV and mail, yeah. Mail, when you are writing a good CV and your research proposal is already written, but the first thing that the professor is gonna read about you is your mail, of course. And the mistake that we usually do in the earlier part is that we write a very big mail. I usually do that. I wrote a big, like, full page mail to the professors, and that was the main reason that I was not receiving any replies, maybe because the mail was too big, and I knew that these guys don't really have, most of the mails that just go into spam, for these professors. And if you are over top of that, if you are writing big mails, then they are not going to read it. So your mail should be really, really concise. It should be really specific what you want, who you are, and what you want from the professor. It should be really concise. So maybe it should be just 1 or 2 paragraphs, that's it. If it's short, then they're definitely gonna read it, and then they're just write that, yeah, my CV is enclosed, my research proposal or my SOP is enclosed, and then if they are interested, then they are definitely gonna click on your CV and open your CV. But in your mail should be maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs big, that's it. Just write, I am this, I'm doing my master thesis in this lab, and on this topic, just briefly what you are doing. So because if you are really working on some enclosed project, you can't really disclose everything in the first mail, right? You can't really disclose every project to a random person. So just write roughly what you are doing, in which field you are pursuing your thesis, and all other things, and just write them this would be your 1 paragraph, that who you are, what you are doing, whom lab you are doing your thesis, what you are doing your thesis on. And then in the next paragraph you'll write why you want to do PhD in that particular person's lab. You don't have to write yeah, I'm really motivated to do PhD, I'm really motivated towards science. No one wants to read that. So you just have to write why this person's lab. Just write them, I've been reading these papers, I'm really interested in this project. If you are being specific, they are going to notice you. For example, in the person's website, it's written that this guy is interested in prepare in designing and preparing some intelligent materials or something, for example. So if you're going to write in your mail that, yeah, I'm interested in preparing intelligent materials, he's not going to reply you, because this means that you just opened his website, you look at the title and everything, and then you just wrote the mail. That's why I said that just spend a little bit time on the professor's profile. Go to one of the publications, there is separate column when you open up a professor's web page. There are separate columns where there is publications and research areas. So in research areas, you'll get to know what are the main fields that that person work on. And if you are in the mail, you are writing specifically which research area you are interested in. And for example, if you are even mentioning some specific publication of there, it would really like depict a very good impression on the professor that, yeah, this person really seems interested in my work. Maybe if then in that case, if he has like an open position, he'll definitely reply you. Or even if he doesn't has position or he don't have funding, then as I said, that they can really offer you to apply for DART also. In fact, you can write that also in your mail, that if you don't, I'm very open to applying for DART scholarship also, if possible. I would really, you can ask him that I want your permission, I would really want to work in your lab and I want to apply for DART scholarship and those things. So that would really also help your mail a lot, that even if the professor is not having funding in the lab, then they'll consider that, okay, this person seems nice, and if this person is nice, they can also earn this DART scholarship, and then he or she can come and work in my lab. Because receiving a DART scholarship is not a difficult thing. If the professor is willing to take you in the lab, and that's the most important part, I would say. The recommendation of that professor is really important for DART. If that professor is willing to take you, then you'll definitely receive DART scholarship. So that's how your mail should be composed: very concise, specific. Concise and specific, those are the two important terms that I would say. Yeah. So
all right. Now moving into the interview, we want to ask you, like, what is the importance of German language, and how is your life in Germany and the standard of living, fun, and other things, or the extracurricular activities if you're doing during your PhD.
learning German is a bit important, because in the lab, like in your scientific life is not gonna get affected by learning German, of course, because even if you are learning like A1 level German, you won't be able to talk to your professor or your lab mates in fluently in German, right? So it doesn't affect your life like scientific in the scientific way. But when you go to other, because now you're going to lead an independent life, you have to do all the tasks on your own, you have to run a home also, you have to run a job also. So you have to go, because these guys, I mean, when you'll go to supermarkets, you'll go to train stations, you are going to travel, these guys don't know English much, these guys don't know much, don't know, only like people who are studying or who are well educated people, they know how to speak English, otherwise not all people speak English, and they don't even prefer to speak English for that matter. So if you are coming to Germany, you know that you have been selected and you have some period, some ample amount of time, then I would say just go for A1 level course, so that at least you know how to say danka, like how to thank the person, or at least tell them that you don't speak English or you don't speak German, at least tell these things, or you know how to talk in the supermarket, that's it. That's all you want. It won't really be that much difficult otherwise. And yeah, but of course, as I said, it's not going to affect the scientific life, so don't really worry about that. Next, the life in Germany, of course, it's super good. I mean, these guys know how to work hard and then how to party even harder later. So these guys know how to maintain a proper work-life balance. That depends on you whether you want to work more or not. But I know about these people. They come to lab. If they're coming to lab from 9, even 9 to 6, then they're gonna work very hard for those 9 hours, and they're gonna complete all of their tasks, and then go home and relax and chill and pursue other hobbies that they want. But when I like to work more, I like to read, I like to read literature, because it's really difficult to have a good look on the literature, what's going on these days, and to run your experiments, and then to prepare your presentations, you prepare your reports. There are so many things, like writing of publications also. If you are for example, currently I'm preparing my own first author paper, and it's been the most difficult task of my life. I mean, preparing the like publication, it's very difficult. So there are like a lot of other things you have to take care of. But I would say if you are coming to Germany, you're really gonna enjoy your life here. I mean, because you're gonna work, but you're gonna enjoy your personal life also, because they are not going to force you to work 12 hours or 11 hours a day. They are not going to force you. So I would say that the balance and the life in Germany is really good. Yeah, so you should definitely consider coming to Germany for your PhD. Yeah.
Okay, so from your experience, what message you would love to share with our community?
See, just be aware. I don't know, for example, I'll ask you guys, do you have Twitter account? Do you have LinkedIn account yet?
Yes.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, if you have it, then it's really good. And I really tell these things to other people, that you should have these 2 accounts. And for example, it's so easy to contact a professor on these platforms, right? For example, if you are looking for a good PhD program, then like follow the professor on Twitter and LinkedIn beforehand. And because they post PhD positions, other jobs positions on these platforms also. These platforms are really important. Just follow them, follow other people also, follow a lot of professors, scientific advisors, and contact them, talk to them on these platforms. And the other thing is that building your profile is really important. Just don't get stuck upon studying all the time, and get to know other things also. Be aware of what's going on in the world, and decide for yourself what you want to achieve, and start preparing for it in the early phase. It's never late always, but still you have an application deadline, right? So you have to be aware, and you have to be decide for yourself what you really want in your life and start preparing for it. Just don't that yeah, I'll do this also, I'll do this also, I'll do this also. That's not gonna happen. And yeah, that's really really important. Yeah, that's it. Just be aware and start building your personality from the very beginning of your thesis masters. Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap up this interview with an interesting question, my personal favorite question, Charu. Like, if you were a chemistry apprentice, then what you will be and why?
Apprentice. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, that's really tricky. I never thought about this. I think I really love running columns during my organic chemistry, like my organic chemistry lab courses and my thesis time. Also, I used to run like sometimes 3 columns a day also. So I really like that particular piece of apparatus. If I have to be something, then I would be a column.
Okay, so thank you so much, Charu, for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us in this episode. It's truly been amazing talking with you, and the way you elaborated every question is just amazing.
Exactly. It's been an insightful discussion. Our viewers will learn a lot from this.
Thank you so much, guys, for inviting. I really look forward to some of you guys coming to Germany, and then I'll meet you here. We'll plan a short and sweet meetup. And as I said in the beginning, also, I really, really appreciate that you guys have been doing this and you created this platform. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. And I'm really happy that someone came forward with this idea. And I really want that people get enlightened by these interviews that you have been pursuing, and people get motivated by this, and they have some guidance towards and counseling towards what they want to do or pursue in their future. So all the very best, and thank you so much for inviting me.